Why, hello there, YouTube, and welcome to a Sarah Jane review. I am Davros, and I'm a Whovian, and today a review of the Sarah Jane Adventures, Death of the Doctor. So, this is a two-parter, again, as always, and in this one, we see the Doctor come back. Yes. So, in this serial, when the Doctor is declared dead, old companions Sarah Jane Smith and Jo Gant, now Jo Jones, meet for the first time as join forces to discover the truth as the interstellar conspiracy gathers around Unit HQ. Clyde finds he holds the fate of the Time Lord and his hand quite literally, as the Shangshef, who are intergalactic funeral directors, basically want to get the hold of the TARDIS, and the Doctor eventually finds his way to Sarah Jane and Jo, and basically they have to fight the Shangshef off and save the day. So what did I like about this one? Well, this was the second time the Doctor had appeared in the spin-off show. In the previous series, it was David Tennant's 10th Doctor that appeared, and in this one, Matt Smith appeared. Not to mention, at the time, he was still new to the show, given that he'd just had his first series earlier that year. And, he explains that he has Amy and Rory are on some sort of honeymoon together, and he's doing his own stuff, but then he gets stranded on this planet by the Shangshef. But the Doctor, being clever, he finds a way to teleport himself in Clyde's place after Clyde has this connection to the Doctor. But then the Doctor fixes it so Clyde can stay where he is, and the Doctor can, and Sarah Jane and Jo can face the Shangshef. I like the Shangshef. They were very Vulture-like and looked like something out of the Dark Crystal film. You know, if you've seen that film, you know what I mean. But yeah, Shangshef, funeral directors, interstellar funeral directors, and yeah, because vultures are kind of like nature's funeral directors, if you think about it. So yeah, unique, creative monsters, the Shangshef. Also, we see Matt Smith as well as the Doctor. He was brilliant, and at the end of part one, when we see his hand taking over Clyde's hand, and then he gets teleported over, I just grinned and smiled because I'm like, he's here. Yeah, I love that. I love that bit, that cliffhanger ending, and then we get to see part two. Also, we get moments where we see archived footage of previous Doctors, like the Doctors, Jo and Sarah knew that they travelled with. And then we see the Doctor back. I also like the heart-to-heart Sarah and the Doctor had, because the last time she saw the Doctor before that was in The End of Time, when he saved Luke from an incoming car, and that scene in The End of Time, you can tell she knew that was going to be the last time she'd see the Doctor that way, and she sees him again. Now is the 11th, and the Doctor explains to Sarah that even though it was heartbreaking, he looks back and remembers all the good times, and basically kind of gives us a bit of closure, saying, yeah, the 10th Doctor was sad, but he was okay with it in the end, and even though he's the 11th Doctor, it's still our Doctor, and I like those scenes. I also like that we got the return of Katy Manning as Jo Gant. First time we'd seen her in over 40 years? 50 years. No, 40 years at the time. Because she played companion Jo Gant in 1971 to 1973 with John Pertwee. She even had encounters with the first and second Doctors in the Three Doctors serial. So she was aware of the regeneration, that he can change his face. And I like that they reconnect as well, the Doctor and Jo. And, despite the Doctor being a completely different person, it kind of had those classic vibes. I don't know how to explain that, but I guess that's just the show. Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. We also get the support cast, Luke, Clyde, Rani, and even, Jo's grandson gets in on the action, who is played by actor, what's his name? That's it, Finn Jones, and he plays Santiago, Jo's son. Finn Jones, of course, had a huge career ahead of him, becoming the Iron Fist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Not a greatly received show, but still, he played a Marvel hero. Also, I liked, we get Alexander Armstrong voicing, Mr. Smith too. And also, this just, to me, felt like, I don't know, this is probably one of the best serials of the 4th series. This was also written by Russell T Davies. I mean, at that point, Russell T Davies, he'd moved on from the show, and he worked on that final series of Torchwood, but yeah, it was nice to see him actually come back and pen this story, and have him do an episode with the 11th Doctor, even though it wasn't in the main show, it was in the show that he created, the Sarah Jane Adventures. So I liked, I gotta say, he did good writing there. Same things can't be said for the recent times at the making of this video, if you know what I mean, but yeah, it showed that he still had a love for the show, and he gave us this 2-parter. And yeah, I also like the setting on the various locations and that, and the visual effects, and Matt Smith brought his energy, and like I say, at the time he was still new to the show. He'd only done 1 series at the time of this airing of this 2-parter, so people were probably still adjusting to him, but I already more than just adjusted to that. I mean, the year started where we saw the 10th Doctor regenerate, make his final outing, and then regenerate into him. And then we got to see him in the spring of that year, make his debut as the Doctor, and then we got to see him again before the 2010 Christmas special in, this serial. So, yeah, Death of the Doctor? I don't think so. But, yeah, this was, like I say, a fun 2-parter that I enjoyed. So, any negatives? I guess the fact that we didn't see the Doctor until the end of part 1 come into it, but given that we didn't see him until the cliffhanger of the previous series, I thought, yeah, they're probably saving him to the end, and then we'll get a lot more of him in part 2, and we did. So ratings, I will give performances I'll give him a 10. The writing, I'll give it a 9. Visuals, an 8 on my personal, I'll give it a 9. So there you go. There is my review for today. Have you seen this one? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, share with your friends, and feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. I have been Davros the Whovian, and this has been a Sarah Jane Reviews. So, until next time, run for your life.